So who is Chris Bender? Why haven't I heard of him until now? Well everyone, sit your butts down and let Uncle Von tell you something. Christopher Lamont Bender, known as Chris Bender, was born on August 2nd, 1972 in Brocktown, Massachusetts. Chris was the youngest of 6 children. Growing up in Brockton, Chris's family was deeply devoted to church. At the very young age of 10, Chris discovered he had a singing voice, but didn't say anything to his family until one Thanksgiving evening where he sung Amazing Grace. In 1986, when Chris was 14, he and his 2 siblings formed a band called Steady Life, where they performed at local clubs in Brockton. Chris was inspired by Michael Jackson, Prince, Sam Cooke, and New Edition, who was from Boston, Massachusetts. During his childhood, Chris would meet a man named Bobby Jones, who owned a studio in the neighborhood, and helped develop Chris' singing voice. Jones also told Chris that Brockton was a dangerous place, filled with drug dealers and gangbangers. Chris had his share of getting into trouble with the law. Chris just wanted to get out of Massachusetts, work on his music, and get his family out the hood. He would soon drop out of high school and focus on his music full time. Chris would record his first album, Chris Bender, for Epic Records. The first single, Baby Girl, was released in 1989.
Baby girl, around my world, tell me girl, do you wanna be mine?
Chris' manager at the time, Terry L. Calloway, stated Baby Girl had a video, but it was never released. In 1991, Chris would release his second album, Drake, which hit number 92 on the Billboard R&B charts. Chris' second album, Drake, had the single I Knew that peaked at number 43 on the R&B Billboard charts. And his follow-up single, That's Not the Way, peaked at number 68 on the R&B charts.
Those foolish lies that you had spoken to me.
The song I Knew was his only music video debut until his untimely death. On November 3rd, 1991, Chris and his cousin Jesse Starks were sitting in Chris' black Mercedes-Benz outside of the Cranston Court House and Project. 3 hooded men fired guns at Chris's car. On November 3rd, 1991, Chris and his cousin Jesse Starks were sitting in Chris' black Mercedes-Benz outside of the Cranston Court House and Project. 3 hooded men fired gunshots at Chris's car. Chris shielded his cousin from the gunshot. Jesse was unharmed. Unfortunately, Chris wasn't so lucky. He was struck 4 times in the back and died from his wounds in the hospital. On November 9th, 1991, Chris Bender was buried at the Melrose Cemetery in Plymouth County in Brockton, Massachusetts. The suspects of Chris' murder was caught, was convicted to second-degree murder, but granted parole on January 2015. Leroy Kendall, convicted to second-degree murder, but granted parole in 2008. And Kevin Byham was sentenced to 5 to 7 years. He served that term and was released. Chris Bender's music is still being played in the R&B throwback mixes. He has a nephew who is also named Chris Bender who sings gospel music. Chris Bender could have been one of the top artists in the R&B game. He had the voice and the look to back it up. You may never know how far Chris' career would have taken him if he never was murdered. And that's the end of the video, people. What do you think of Chris Bender? Did you just heard about Chris Bender? Have you listened to his music? Do you think his career would have taken him much further? Or do you think he would have been a one-hit wonder? Make sure comments below. I'm Bon the Stampede, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao. And that's a wrap.